time to make a pattern. Using all of the tools that we've gone over, we should be able to make one. I'm going to go ahead and make one according to the size requirements of the assignment. And you'll notice up in the corner it says that you have a to keep file, which is 9 individual 2x2 pattern squares at 150 pixels per inch. But the to submit is a 6x6 inch contact sheet, and that will also be at 150 pixels per inch. Now, the reason for that is that I want you to have access to all of your patterns that you've created later, even though you don't need to necessarily turn those in as raw files. In fact, I don't want them as raw files. I just want them as patterns captured inside of the 6x6 image. That said, we're going to go ahead and create a pattern, a small one, so that will be 2 inches by 2 inches at 150 pixels per inch. Standard RGB 8-bit color mode. We'll just, white background's fine. We'll deal with that as we go. Square pixels, all of this normal stuff. And we'll go ahead and tell it okay and create a pattern. Now, to start, I'm going to use some of the tools and techniques that we did earlier with cloning by taking an image from Pixabay. And let's try this one and building a pattern. Now, keep in mind, it takes a while to build a pattern, so you're going to want to make sure you have plenty of time to do it. In other words, if you find it's taking you an hour to make a pattern, which is pretty quick actually, you're going to need to, have 9 hours to do your assignment. So keep that in mind. I'm going to hold down Shift to make a square. I don't really care what the size is just yet. I'm just looking around. I think this might be a good area. So Shift to create a square using the marquee tool. And this will be my sample. I'll go ahead and copy. Let me paste this down. Oh, good. This is quite large. Not a problem. I'm going to transform this with Control T. And just make sure it's constrained. Depending on your version of Photoshop, you may need to hold your Shift key, or you may need to not hold your Shift key because Adobe is insane. Let's go ahead and put that in there. And I've got snap on, so we'll kind of bounce over. So shrinking down won't cause any damage to the image. Expanding it could, so keep that in mind. Let's take a look at what this does. I'm going to press Enter and zoom in. So what do I mean by take a look at what this does? Well, I'm going to go over to the filter, other, offset, and I'm going to be dealing with these seams that are appearing. And slide this over a little bit. I'm just going to make the seam in the middle, but I'm going to drop it a bit too. All right, and now we have all of this to work with. Now, we've got lots of tools for working with images now. I'm going to go ahead and make a new layer above it. And then I'm going to grab one of our tools. Let's see, what do we have? Oh, we've got all kinds of good stuff. Let's go ahead and, but do keep in mind that some tools can use the all layers, and other tools are incapable of using all layers. So do be careful with that. So I'm going to use the content aware move tool. This should be fun. And I missed horribly. So I'm just going to hold down Shift. There we go. Shift will allow me to add to the selection. What happens if I just move this? Well, it blended it right in, which isn't what I wanted. I wanted to transform on drop. So this will give me the chance to do this crazy thing. Or not. See, we don't want to rotate it. Well, maybe we'll take care of it, but the shadow at the top won't blend easily. But let's try it. See how it looks all weird and fakey? That's because the shadow isn't working very well. So I'm going to call a nix on that one, and I'm actually going to move over to our standard stamp tool. Well, let's actually use the healing brush tool, and we're going to pop open these clone source options, and we're going to flip these around so that we have the opposites going in. Let's see. Do we want it on width? Flip horizontal. Let's try that one. I always get that mixed up. Yep, it's flip horizontal is the one we're after. And notice that it's starting to heal things in. So because we have flip horizontal, I'm able to just paint along and it tries to blend it in. Now, I do have it set to sample. I'm actually going to set it to legacy for just a minute so that it can deal with the colors a little bit differently. There we go. It's still a little bright. And let's take a look at the modes here. I need to darken this a bit. I'm going to use multiply, as we know that's a darkening mode. So that will hopefully take care a little bit of that brightness, just a bit. But I'm still not liking where that's going. So it's time to actually use the normal mode again. Switch over from the healing tool to the stamp tool. We'll do clone stamp. Let me bracket key that down. And that's more like it. Click. All right, and there we go. So that's starting to look better already. Now you can see that there's more work to be done. Let's go ahead and go into the healing tool again. Suddenly it starts to make sense why I went over the healing tool so much. Here we go. It's looking better. Oops, I want to flip that around. There we go. I'm going to switch to the spot healing brush. And oops, don't want that. Let's do it over here. There we go. Just take care of that seam. Take care of that seam. Now we can see that this isn't going to work. This is not going to work at all. We can either make tiny bricks, which could work, or we could remove it entirely, or a combination of the two where some of it is removed and some of it is not. But we'll deal with that in a minute. First things first, I'm going to take care of this weird brick. This is going to be another scenario where I'm going to want to start maybe with the clone stamp tool, but flip it again. But careful here, because I don't want to damage the area that we're already on. So I'm going to do this, make another layer, a larger brush, Alt click, and then I'll just punch that in. And then one too many, come in with the eraser tool and just clean that up a little bit. Oops, I really want to get it up here. Here we go. So I'm liking where this brick is working, so I'll probably include that one. And let's look for a place where we could steal an edge. Here, maybe. Up there looks good. All right. Looks pretty good. So now we need to patch that together. And zoom in a little bit. Oops. And grab the stamp tool again. Actually, this might be better for the healing brush tool. And just kind of clean it up a little bit, like that. Now it's time for the spot healing brush. I said spot healing brush, don't know why I missed. There we go, spot healing brush. There we go. Let's see how the spot healing brush handles this area. It's not too bad. All right, and we want a corner, so I'm just, hold on, let's clean that up. Nope, don't like that. There we go. Okay, I'm going to move this corner over there as well with just the normal stamp tool, Alt click. I don't like that too much, so I'm going to make another layer over it. Take the eraser tool, just clean that up. Just a little bit. So I have a more defined corner, but not necessarily the same corner. See? Merge that down. Again, clean up a little bit here. I want more of this right there, so I'm going to just grab it this way. I don't like that blur. Let me come in here real quick. Don't like how that turned out. There we go. All right. See how it was before and after. Definite improvements, except for I think the spot healing brush is not working particularly well, so I'll be careful with that. There we go. Clean that up a little bit before we merge it down. I like that, actually. I'm going to leave that. Control E. All right. So now here's what we have so far. Still a lot more work to be done. But as I was saying, I'm going to Control Alt E real quick to make a flat out copy of this thing. And I lost track of where I was working. I got distracted. Let's see. Let's finish off this section right here. I need more of a corner. This one might work. Okay, Control Shift I and delete. So I did a marquee tool across it. Control Shift I and delete means that the duplicate that I made, I now have right here. So I can start blending this together using some of our tools. I keep using brush instead of S. So I'm going to actually, let's try the patch tool, which, oh, sorry, no, the patch tool will not allow me to do it on the same layer. So I'm going to do this, Control Alt Shift E, make another duplicate. And with that duplicate, I'm going to go ahead and patch it up. Oops, but I want destination, not source. There we go. Control D to deselect. Oops, don't like that. Alt key to subtract out. Didn't like that brightness right there. Okay, that looks a lot better. Control D to deselect. That looks worse. Leave that alone. Control D to deselect. We need an edge really for this side. We'll deal with that in just a second. Let's see if anything else while I'm in here to use the patch tool. Yeah, this. And where else might be good? Actually, this is surprisingly decent. I'll just bring that down. There we go. These almost look like bricks immediately, except for that edge. So let me steal a similar colored edge. And then I'll want to deselect there. Why am I stuck on the plus? Let me switch this back to normal. There we go. Now I can draw again. Just drag that over. Don't like that color that came in. Let me erase that. And that. A little too much. More like that. There we go. So that color is still a little off, so I'm going to do an erase at 10% to bring that, clean that up a little bit. All right, there we go. So with the stamp, anything else that I can do on this weird extra image I've created? No? All right. So that's looking better. So what am I going to do here? I'm going to drag it below everything else that I've done. Control click. Well, no, I'm not going to drag it down below everything else I've done. I'm going to control click on the previous layers. Control Shift click, I mean, on the previous layers to get them. Come over here and delete. So I could see what on earth I was working on. All right. It's easy to lose track of where you are. Actually, I think it really is easy to lose track of where you were. All right, I'm going to toggle this on and off a couple of times. Looks like 2 areas in particular, 3 areas really. Do I like how that worked out? Yeah, that's okay. So I'm gonna grab the lasso tool. Shift dragging around it. Okay, Control Shift I, delete. All right, so now I've got the individual pieces. Yeah, mapped out. Okay, so this is looking a little funky. Let's come on in here. I'm going to use the standard stamp tool again. I'm going to flip it around again. Just grab this corner and put it in right over there. But one more time, I'm going to do it on a new layer. So I have total control. Come in here with the eraser. I'm still at a small percentage. Crank that back up to 100%. There we go. Get the last of that. Okay, so that brick's looking good. Okay, all these are looking pretty good. I'm going to merge them down to just a couple layers. Yeah, okay. Zoom out real quick. Still not happy with this right here, the color change. Let's come back to the patch tool. No, actually, let's not use the patch tool. Let's try one more time the spot healing brush. Why do I keep missing it? The spot healing brush. Ugh, it's just not matching very well. Switch it to proximity match with a lower diffusion. Man, it just likes to blur my stuff. And I do not like my stuff blurred. All right, put that back. Content aware just isn't doing it. Okay, we'll leave that one for the moment. Let's focus on this bad boy. I'm just going to copy, I think, this one over here and blend it together for this missing bit. So how am I going to do that? Well, I'm going to Control Alt Shift E to merge a new copy at the top. Then I'm going to just do this, and Control Shift I and delete. Control D. Now I've just got, oops, V to move this one chunk. So I don't need that much of the chunk, so I'm going to cut this down. V to move it. E to erase. V to move again. Drag this in a bit. There we go. That looks better. That's a little much. I'm going to leave that. Let's set my brush with the right click to lower hardness. And just erase it 20% to blend this together. Sometimes you don't even need the stamp tools and things. All right, toggle this on and off real quick. Okay, eraser, crank this hardness up to 100 again, bring the opacity back up. Just going to cut away back to the original, just a little bit. All right, that looks a lot better. Time to save. I just realized I haven't done that. Toss this up onto the week 6 demos. That's where we are. We'll call this stone wall. Tell it okay. All right, I'm just going to fill away this chunk entirely. Oh, how's this look again? Overall, pretty good. I don't like this one shadow. Let me erase that. It's part of the original. Wow. All right. Pretty good. All right. Flatten that down. All right. I'm just going to erase this one chunk out. So I'm going to make a new layer altogether. Let's see. What do I need to target? I really need this weird dirt color over there. So this looks like a job for the standard stamp and then the healing stamp. So I'm just going to alt click and then bring that piece up and cover this up just a little bit here. And that has a bit of a repeat. I don't like that too much. So I'm going to come over here, alt click. Now I need to rotate this a little bit. And how do we do that? And we can just rotate it over here. Whoa. A little bit more. There, like that. And now I'm going to set this rotation back to 0. I'm going to erase just a little bit. I don't want to touch into my rock. There we go. Go back to my stamp tool. Maybe some of this chunk. Over here might be good. And a little bit of this. Notice I'm sampling from different areas of similar tonality and color because I don't want to have a big gross repeating pattern on everything. Oops. But I'm going to have to heal. This is actually going to be a good point for my spot healing brush. Maybe it's not been treating me particularly well. Ugh. Alt click, then click. Oh, I've got it set to flip. I don't want that. That blur that it's applying, I just don't like that blur very much. Let's see, over here. Now this shadow is going to be the real piece to work on. Like, grab my stamp tool. A little too close, move it over here. Here we go. That's looking better. Still looks pretty fakey. All right, once I've got a big chunk of it, now's the time to let that weird blurring tool do its job. And by weird blurring tool, I mean the healing brush tool, which has been not treating me particularly well today, but there we go. Ugh, hate that. All right, there we go. All right. Okay, definite improvement. I am concerned that this one blank area will be quite visible as a pattern repeat, but we'll deal with that a little later down the road. We need to fix this up. And I think I will use that right there. So Alt click. And again, it keeps giving me this horrible bright color that I don't want. Erase. Don't know why it's so in love with that today. All right. There we go. All right. And this area should be cleaned up as well. Where's a good place? I think over there. Stamp tool, click. Just kind of blend that together. Didn't do a super good job there, so I'm going to come in with the spot healing brush. Just click. Oh, there. It actually did its job. Good for it. Okay, there we go. Spot healing brush on that and that. Maybe there. Ah, finally. There we go. Save. Spot healing brush there. And probably here. A little too much. Seems like it's just too soft. There we go. And kill that. All right. This has to be dealt with. Now, how am I going to deal with this area? Well, I'm actually going to come back to the original, and I'm going to, with the marquee tool, copy and paste just so that I have the entire original just stashed away really quickly. I could save the selection and all of that, but I'm not going to do that right now. Okay, I'm going to come into the original, grab this whole brick, Control C, come on over here, and paste that whole brick down. Control T. Let's get some stuff to work with. And just keep shrinking it as necessary. Eraser tool. Erase away. Okay. So why did I do that? Well, so I can come in, whoa, not with multiply, come in and just drop the opacity a little bit. And now I have a little more area to work with. So I need to bring this up to 100% opacity, but still have it faded away that much. I'm just going to create a new layer and merge down one. So now this layer is at 100% opacity, but this whole thing's at 60%. Now when I come in with my content aware, not the spot healing brush tool and sample all layers, I can come in and just kind of merge it over. Hopefully this will work and I didn't just waste our time. Well, that one was not quite what I expected. That layer's not hidden. It is hidden. I accidentally hit it. I'll click. Oh, I hate that bright color. How's that? That is not much better, actually. So as you can see, sometimes there are missteps. Maybe we can just load in a whole brick over there. Well, it's a little better. But I need to erase away here because it blends over on this other side of the brick, and we want to keep that. So I'm actually going to grab the stamp tool real quick. Too much. Let's make this a little bit bigger and a little bit fuzzier, just lowering the hardness. Here we go. All right, I need a new corner. For this, I'm going to come back over here and look at these corners on the original image and kind of spot one that might work well. This might actually work nicely. Take the eraser again. Oh, that looks better. All right. Okay, it's coming along. Let's go ahead and focus in on this brick. We need another corner. I'm going to, again, come back to the original and look for a corner that might work well, like that one. Ooh, or this one. And the reason I'm doing this, coming back and selecting new things, is that, again, I only have this selection in this area. So if I add in new parts altogether and not clone them, then I'm introducing unique elements to the entire piece, which means there won't be a place that people can spot a weird little repeat happening, which is really, really useful. Okay. And maybe an eraser at 20% with softness. And look at that. Got a new corner. I'm not happy with this edge. This end here, this tip looks really weird. So I'm going to take a look and see if there's some place that maybe I can steal a new tip from. And I'm going to, again, kind of dodge everything in here because we're already using that stuff. I want to get something new. I'm thinking maybe this tip will work. So I'm just going to come in, Control C, Control V, grab the eraser real quick. Whoops, at 100%. Hit 0 on the top key of the keyboard. And I'm just going to erase away. Careful with that. I do want to preserve this nice edge. Okay. All right. I'm going to duplicate this real quick because I'm going to transform it down. I could make it a smart object, but I'm not going to go to that much trouble. I can see a spot I missed right here. All right. Oops. Another one. Okay. And just kind of smush that. Oops. No, don't do that. I missed and accidentally finished the transformation before I was ready. I want to knock this down a bit. Really don't like this. Is the transform tool right now in this version of Photoshop is the only one where you have to hold shift to not constrain, which is absurd. They should all either constrain or not constrain according to the same key commands, but Photoshop has messed up very badly this year. All right. And erase away a little bit. Oh, maybe a little too much. 30% opacity. Okay, that's better. All right. The more we can work with here. Oh, I'm erasing on the wrong layer. Easily spotting that problem now. So what I mean by there's more we can work with here, well, I mean this. I'm going to come in, marquee tool, this little edge here, C, Control C, turn off that, Control V, V key. See this loveliness? Oops, a little too much. Control T, squash that down a little bit. Oh, eraser right in here and right over there. There we go. That's looking a lot better. Except I still haven't gotten this corner, which was the whole point in the first place. Instead, I started patching up this weird chunk. All right, not a problem. Let me concentrate on that corner for just a minute. I did kind of get it. Don't like the... See, it's still too something. Bring up the hardness. Okay, merge that down. Definitely looking better. Clean that up. There we go. Oh, too much. There we go. All right. That's a little better. A little better, a little much. There we go, clean that up. And I'm just erasing away some chunks I don't like very much. I'm going to run the spot healing brush, I believe, on that section. Okay. %20 eraser just to clean that up a bit. And eraser. Control E. Looks like I've been going for 30 minutes so far. I'm going to save. We'll continue this on the next video. Because I don't want to have truly massive videos, it makes it harder to upload everything. I'll see you in just a minute.